Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast by Euprime. These are podcasts that will be in the public domain. So what do we have?
I saw an article written by you in LinkedIn. It was about consumer tax credit on startup spending, right? Now, the basic idea behind that is that if you spend some money on startup, like products given by startups, your taxes, like the taxes which you give to the government, is slightly reduced.
Yeah, so the basic idea is this, like anytime you want to incentivize a sector of the economy which is kind of not incentivized enough for production, it's incumbent upon the government to make policies which are conducive for healthy transactions in that sector of the economy. So when you think of a startup sector or like small and medium scale enterprises sector, the tax credits for starting up or the barriers for entry for starting up are significantly low compared to what it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. What we need in terms of incentive is not ways by which you can start up companies. What we need is incentives for consumers to consume products produced by these services and product companies so that they get
Don't you think this kind of creates a more consumer-based society, like a more consumer-based economy?
I think the more the consumer-based society, the better. I think if you just think of evolution of economies, every economy starts as an agrarian economy, then it moves to industrialized economy, industrial manufacturing, and then it moves to more service oriented economy. So if we are in a transition, we have actually leapfrogged the manufacturing stage because we never really had a robust manufacturing industry in this country. So this is particular to India and not pertaining to any other country. We have sort of leapfrogged from an agrarian economy to a service-based economy. So when you get into service-based economy, you will have lots of people in their 20s and 30s have jobs in different metropolises of this country, and as a result you will require some sort of a consumption in the economy. So consumption economy is not consequence, it's almost an inevitable outcome of a service-based economy. So more the consumer driven economy, the better. So there is no problem with that.
Okay, yeah. So, but startups are basically businesses, right?
Yes.
And why do businesses fail? It's because they make products which people don't need. And right now, with this system, what you're doing is you're promoting startups to sell more things even if people don't need it.
No, that is not the case at all. So, like let's understand this properly. The logic being put forth in the question is you're incentivizing things which are rejected by general consumer preferences, right? So what do you think that is? Like, I don't think that is the case at all, because like if you are rejected by consumers, you won't have a market to begin with. Whether you give tax credit or not, you will not have revenue in the first place. So if you don't have revenue, there's a difference between having zero revenue and having, let's say, 1 crore of revenue with 2 crore loss, but still you're not cash flow positive. Both are not the same things, because the company which has generated 1 crore of revenue, having spent 2 crores, has in the market some sort of a customer brand value. So that cannot be discounted. And if it were to continue, if it generates enough cash in the operations, if it were to continue, they can have brand loyalty, as a result of which that company has over a period of time can increase prices and recoup the amount of cost they've put into operations. So the idea that we are disincentivizing startups to spend more on things which are not important is not really true.
Over here in the new system, what you're doing is you're just making everyone to use it for free. Like that Freemium is replaced with a tax reduction.
Yeah,
that's what's happening, right?
Tax reduction, but this also, you have to understand, it's not like we have a lot of alternatives. When you move to a service-based economy, you have to have an internal consumption mechanism. So traditionally 9% of India's GDP is service-driven, and service-driven economy, around 80% of it is services given to countries abroad like US, UK, European Union, and the others. Even that cannot continue forever, because India grows at a much higher rate, and compared to the countries that we service. So they grow at a smaller rate, we grow at a higher rate. Eventually, there comes a point in time that the currency levels will have to appreciate in an Indian context. We cannot depreciate our currency forever.
Yeah.
So eventually, we have to come to grips with the fact that we have created a monster of having an economy which is totally driven by cost efficiency, and we have to have an internal consumption that can absorb all the extra income that is generated from this service. So let's say there is no consumption economy.
Right.
All you will do is hoard the money in banks, which is not a rational utilization of capital that's available for an economy.
That's true.
So the right way to allocate capital in productive businesses, which will in turn generate cash. So people investing in new companies, whether you call it startup or small and medium scale enterprises, it's a good thing. So overall, there are apps that will fail, but these are not companies. Let's distinguish apps from companies. If you're a registered company and if you see a long-term potential, I don't think they will have any issue. I mean, sure, there'll be lots of apps which will fail. Failure is a good thing, which will purge all the bad apps to make way for the good apps.
So in this system, who do you think are the losers?
I think the way I have proposed the entire scheme, if we were to grow at the pace we are growing, and the growth of the new economy, as I call it, the 6 billion economy as it stands, if it were to grow in percentage terms as a size of the overall economy, I think the overall winners would be people who gain valuable employment,
right,
which are again transferable skills that you learn. The losers will be nobody.
No, but
so
in
the immediate effect, there will be some reduction in the revenues that go to the government from income taxes.
Right.
So you might have a slight reduction in income taxes, which is okay because it gives you an incentive for long-term growth. It sets us up for a long-term growth strategy.
You did mention that the vendors are going to lose out a bit.
Yeah, that is correct.
So if I had to put it this way, think I'm a politician and I have to bring about your new economic system.
Yeah.
I would think about my votes too, right? So the number of people who are vendors are much larger than CEOs and founders of startups.
Yeah, that is true.
Why would I go ahead and
this is a classic job of a politician, that he has to go to his constituents and explain to them what is the long-term benefit of having such a system. If he is not able to convince the populace, and the populace doesn't believe that such a system will have long-term benefits for them, or they will not be part of the profit-sharing companies. I mean, these vendors can reshape themselves into modern companies with websites and apps for their own efficiency increase.
Right.
So it's totally possible that a vendor who doesn't use computers now will end up using computers and will end up using mobile apps to increase its efficiency, production, and all that. So overall GDP growth is a direct result of, is a function of productivity growth. Productivity growth happens when there is efficiency in the processes of the system. So when there is, if you're doing anything to increase the efficiency of the system, it's a good thing. In the short run, sure, like when computers were first invented, a lot of typewriters went out of work, but that doesn't mean that you have to fight for the typewriters, as opposed to think of economy in the long-term growth and how the productivity curve increases, because GDP essentially is a function of productivity curve. Let's get into the benefits of it. Like, we never discussed the benefits.
Okay.
So the benefits of the system is twofold. We are incentivizing the government to collect taxes appropriately. So if I can actually go through the article and read out the points. So I have 3 benefits of the modern economy, which might actually be useful, but more importantly, the larger question of why these benefits are useful. So I've listed out around 8 benefits, and one of the benefits is, let's start with the first one, very less people pay taxes right now. So around 32 million people out of 1.25 billion people file for tax returns, and half of them file for tax returns saying that they don't have any income. It's quite a tragedy. And I think what I'm looking at, I'm a big believer in the free markets and a strong big government. So the usual leftist position is the big government fundamentalism, and in the right position is the free market fundamentalism. I'm actually in favor of both. In the extreme right, so I want a big government which is capable of making changes. I want a free market in everything else. So this kind of fits that model. Right now, India's revenue is so less that even if it were to endeavor on a policy, let's say they released a new healthcare initiative, which I wrote in the afternoon, and I happened to see the news at the end of the day. The government as a percentage of GDP doesn't have enough clout to make significant changes over a short or medium period of time, like for example 10 years. That's not sufficient for government to exercise its clout. So I give here an example. If we set up such a scheme, companies that are new to the economy, that are doing social good, need not be bailed out. Like Solendra is a solar power which was bailed out by US government giving $500 million, and there was a lot of controversy as to why a new startup was given $500 million of taxpayers' money when it was not able to understand the market, as a result of which it went bankrupt. So the moral hazard question of publicizing the losses and privatizing the gains, that never arises if you have such a system. So even from a long-term standpoint, this is a good idea. Revenue recognition of companies can be verified at the transaction level, as you have proofs for both sides of the transaction. So if a company sells a product, you enter that as a sale, you have that transaction, it's a legal transaction because it's white money, and the consumer who claims that transaction from his tax filings, you can match these transactions and find out there is an actual transaction because you have both sides of the transaction. That's an amazing level of detail that you can get to as a government, and you can use lots of technologies, big data, statistical analysis to get to transactional level details, so wherein you can prove anything. So this gives a lot of credibility for our tax code. Filing for taxes will become a national thing. Like if people actually end up paying taxes on time, country would benefit in a big way. Startups will move from freemium models to cash flow positive models. So again, you don't want an investor money, so that founders of the company will have significant stake in the company for a long period of time, as opposed to the status right now wherein founders literally have less than 1%. They're not in it for the long run. They just want to raise money, get to a point where the company can be floated as a public company, and they kind of cash out, which won't be the case if you can give them incentives to be cash flow positive from the very beginning. I mean, when I say very beginning, I would say the first 3 years. So there will be there will be decrease in the lock-in periods of investment. So if someone were to invest in startups, the startup valuation is sometimes irrational. That irrationality is purely driven by future earnings. So if you have one-to-one correspondence with the amount of money you make, and if the amount of money you make is very near to the product launch, you will be in a much better position, because people are willing to pay, because they get, when they file tax returns, they get tax credits. So you'll have more disclosure requirements from 32 million people who are paying taxes. At the same time, companies are willing to avoid freemium model altogether. So the second point is the government will be a bigger player. I want a big government always, because like if you have a bigger government which has higher revenues, let's say there is a war tomorrow, there is no money to finance the war. You have to take loans from other countries. You don't want such a thing. So I want India to be I'm always long India, meaning anything that's good for India is good for the companies that work in India. So if you want to have a stronger country, that would mean the revenue flows of that country have to be significantly higher. So this is a way by which you can expand the number of people who are taxed, and you hope that the short-term decrease in the revenues to the coffers of the government will in the long run be recouped by the number of people who end up paying taxes. Point is not even a benefit. So I just at the end give revenues of all startups about 23,493 crores, and the loss is about 15,672 crores. So this combined is all the money that's spent in the new economy. This considering only big companies and startups which are very famous. So there are about 50 of them that we can take count at. So this turns out to be around 6 billion money spent, which is very tiny compared to 2.25 trillion economy, which serves 1.25 people. So India will grow. This pie will become bigger. As a result of this pie becoming bigger, productivity curve will go higher and efficiency will be increased.
Where do you get this number, the 6 billion?
6 billion is the sum total of all the 50 big startups, startup revenue, and the losses they made that year. So I'm talking about the amount of money that has been spent by these 50 or 60 odd companies, which are very famous or notorious, let's put it that way. So the sum total of all the revenues of all 60 companies and the losses made by all these 60 companies combined is about 6 billion. Very tiny amount compared to 2.25 trillion. So that's pretty much the policy. Now I hope that the whole article is received positively by people who are in the position of making policy for the country, because this has literally no downside apart from the fact that you will have a short-term decrease in revenue count. Thanks everyone for joining us. It was an extensive discussion, went on. Hope you join us next time for our future podcast. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.